Picture it. You're at a convention, you're ready to meet with the agent of your dreams, the one you would die to have represent you. But there is one question you still dread. What are your comp titles? You start to answer, well, there's no books like mine. Stop. Before you go down that rabbit hole, let's stop and think for a minute. Welcome to Conquering Comp Titles. I'm Sarah Faxon, and in this 4-part series, we're going to be talking all about how to use comparative titles to write, market, and sell your book. Let's dive right in. A bit about me. My name is Sarah Faxon. I'm an author, I'm an English teacher, and I'm here to help you build a business plan to build your best book. Let's dive right in on this adventure. In this 4-part series, we're going to be talking about what are comp titles and what do we do with them? How do we use them as authors to prepare our books before, during, and after we write them? And how do we use comp titles to help take our stories out into the world? In this first part, we're going to be talking about the basics, a broad overview of what are comp titles and what to do with them. In part 2, we're going to be talking about how to read like a boss, how to use the stories that you are finding that are similar friends to yours to your best advantage. In part 3, we're going to be talking all about how to use comp titles to guide building your platform as a writer. And in part 4, we're going to talk about how to pitch to agents and to market so that your book can end up on somebody's bookshelf. So for starters, what are comp titles? Why do they matter in our industry? Comp titles are comparative titles, and the way to think of them are as the books that would sit alongside the shelf next to yours. Now, of course, we all write uniquely in our own voice and in our own way, but having titles that you can nest yours beside help agents know how to sell your books to potential houses, helps bookstores know where to put your novel or your book on the shelves of their stores, and it helps other writers to see, oh, you know what? I really like this book and these are comparative titles. Maybe I'll like this one as well. So they're a great way to root your readers and your buyers in the family of your genre. As a writer trying to sell your book, you are building a business. Your writing is your product. So it's important to ensure you have a strong business foundation that you can build your product around, that people will be able to identify and recognize, and that they'll want to invest in. A big part of that is creating a master plan, knowing where you're going so you can figure out how to get there. Basically putting one foot in front of the other and not stumbling over yourself, figuring it out as you go. But of course, that is a part of the journey. But it's important to also find strategies that work and that work for you. You're not chasing trends through your comp titles. You're identifying patterns that have worked for other authors so that you can find those strategies that work for you and your story that you're trying to sell. You're not copying. I want to be very clear on that. Do not copy the works of others. You are building from the bricks of foundations laid before you. In the writing business world, there are multiple phases within the development of your story. It's not just about putting the pen to the page. There are different elements that we see here that explain the different phases. And throughout these phases, you want to be reading. You want to be checking in with what's happening in your genre to see if there are major shifts or major changes within the expectations. Remember, as a business person, you are a plotter, not a pantser. I have so much respect for my pantser friends out there who can write a novel by the seat of their pants. That is a superpower. I have to write down everything that's going to happen. Well, maybe not everything, but I like to have an idea of where I'm going. So to give you an idea of the different phases of the business plan for writing, here's a quick glance. So in the first phase, you're in the pre-writing section. This is when you're researching or plotting or coming up with ideas or jotting down scenes, character names, world building, all of these things. Then comes the writing phase, which varies from person to person. Some of us set writing goals of writing 1,000 words a day, 500 words a day, 50 words a day, whatever it is. This is the phase where we really dig our teeth into the story. Then there's the editing phase. In this phase, you can go back and forth between beta readers, your people that you trust, your editors, to start developing the true structure of your story and how it will eventually end up being on the shelves. Then you start pitching, or then there's the pitching phase. Now, for indies, you're pitching to your market. You're selling directly to your market, independent authors. Whereas traditional-based authors, you're going to be pitching to agents or to small presses to represent your works. So they're the ones who's going to do the final editing and the final presentation of your story. So slightly different paths, but still the same phases. Then you enter the pre-publishing phase. You're starting to really ramp up your marketing. You're starting to tell everybody about the story that you have. You're building your author platform, and you're preparing for the golden ticket hour when your book hits the shelves, either digitally or physically. Then there's the publishing phase. The magic has happened after all your blood, sweat, ink, and tears. You have a book that's on the shelf, and you want to dedicate the next several weeks around this time period to getting the word out about your story. The more voices, the more eyes upon it, the better the chances of it selling better, of course. And then there's the post-publishing phase. The tides have kind of calmed a little bit, but you still want to tell people about your book. And one of the best ways to do that is to connect with the comp titles. If there are new releases coming out and you're like, wow, that is just like my book that I published a year ago, talk about it, write about it, tell the world about it. Say, hey, if you liked this book, you're going to like my book. And this is one of the strategies that comp titles give us, is that it allows us to open up other readers' eyes to our stories by connecting them through stories that they have already read. And speaking of reading, one of the most important parts about being a writer is being a reader. Without reading, none of this really matters. In reading a lot, it helps us to identify the different tropes, length, literary expectations, and pacing and tone that our readers would expect as well. Are we finding that there are so many stereotypes happening in our story that it's kind of boring? And if you're bored with your writing, your readers will probably be bored with it as well. Or are you inventing new tropes that work because you're building off of the foundations of those done before? So you really want to dive in and take notes on the different expectations that are within your genre. So with tropes, you want to be identifying what are your readers enjoying because of what they enjoyed in the comp titles. What did you enjoy while reading the comp titles? Did you like the mystery and suspense that the breakup in the romantasy that you saw or read about helped to build tension in the story? That's a trope, something that we kind of expect within a genre, even though it may sometimes be considered somewhat stereotypical of a genre. And that's a fine line to toe between, so you want to really dig in and read as much as possible within your genre to ensure you're within a safe and healthy, happy parameter there. Length. Oh my gosh, with length, you don't want to overwrite your novel and you don't want to underwrite your novel. Epic fantasy is super long. It's 100,000 plus words. Actually, it's like 120,000 plus words long, whereas romance can be between 60 to 100,000. Now, it's going to change from genre to genre. It's going to change from year to year. That's why you want to do a ton of reading within your genre, so you know what goal or length window you are aiming for. Literary expectation. Within your genre, are you aiming for a very classics, rich style writing, like something I would teach in my English classes, something that you read in your English classes? Or are you looking for something that's more fast-paced, entertaining, something where the lines are short, the syntax is nice and tight, something that rolls your readers through quickly to help the tension and pacing of the story continue? What's the tone? Is it dark and macabre, or is it light and cheerful? If you have a dark story, but you're trying to put it within a super high romance, happily ever after genre, that may not be the right fit. So you have to become familiar with your genre and the audience and their expectations, and the best way to do that is through finding comparative titles. For marketing strategies, now I know we're just kind of going with the tip of the icebergs with these, but for marketing strategies, you want to be familiar with the covers and formats, the summaries, pitching, community, blurbs, and beyond of the genres within your world that you are writing. If you're going the indie route or the traditional route, you still want to be familiar with the look of the books that are going to be sitting alongside the shelves with your own. That way, you're familiar with what your readers are going to be looking for, so you can critique or provide guidance to your cover designer. Now, full disclosure, if you go the traditional route, you may not have a ton of weight or voice toward that, but it never hurts to be armed with this type of knowledge. Summaries. For the back of the book descriptions, read those of your comp titles. Familiarize yourself with what the authors are including, what they're excluding, and what hooks they are sinking into their readers to get them to open up their books. You can use this to start designing or strategizing what you're going to include in your blurb, which you can use to pitch to agents or to small presses and to use within your marketing. So as you're doing this, you're building community. You are checking in with the readers of the authors whose books you are calling your comps. What are they doing? Where are they hanging out? What are they commenting on? Engage with them and build relationships through their readers. You can also build relationships with the writers. We tend to be pretty cool people, for the most part. Most of us don't bite, and in building a community of authors, you are building a group of peers who will be there to support you. Authors are not each other's competition. We all help one another rise as we rise as well, or at least for the most part. So, writers are not your competition. They are your community. Blurbs and beyond. You can use the blurbs that you are generating looking at comp titles to market your stories. Whether you're just talking to your friends or posting a long-form blog on Substack, you can use these blurbs as teasers for your stories. But look at what your comp peers are doing. How are they crafting it? Look back to the summaries, the back of the books. How would you distill that using your works to have one-liners, log lines, or elevator pitches to try to grab the attentions of others? I totally understand how difficult it can be to make time to read and to write. Trust me, I'm a full-time student. I am a teacher, a novelist, a wife, cat mom, daughter and sister and friend, and so on. But one of the things that has been most important for me is consistency, either through my writing routine or my reading routine. And something that I really encourage you all to do is to look at your day-to-day activities. Are you finding yourself doom scrolling on any of the medias for more than 15 minutes? Well, perhaps carve that excess time out as your time to read or to try to find comp titles. If you're waiting in line to pick up your kiddos from school, that might be time to be listening to an audiobook to try to find out if that's the right story for you. If you're waiting in line at the grocery store for the person to find their coupons ahead of you, be scrolling through a novel instead of on social media. Find ways, make time to read. But most importantly, read what you love and love what you read. Don't waste your time on books that bore you. Sure, you can look at those for strategies of what not to do, but life is short, time is precious, If you've invested 5 minutes in a book and you're like, I'm still not sure on it, 15 minutes, you're like, I'm really not feeling it, put it down. It's okay. It'll be all right. Find the books that work for you. Read the stories that inspire you, the ones that made you think, man, I want to write, or wow, I want to write like this. That's the power of comp titles. And when we build in consistency of reading, finding the ones that fit best alongside your books on the shelf becomes a dream. I want to thank you so much for showing up today for you on your journey to find comparative titles to build the best business platform for your story, for your works, and for your writing. It takes a lot to sit down for 10, 15, 20 minutes to listen to some bubblehead tell you about things that you can do to improve your craft and your career. So thank you so much for being here, for showing up for yourself, and for supporting my Substack. Be sure to subscribe, share, and comment in the boxes below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have or to help you on your writing journey. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart to the people who have pledged their support. I cannot tell you how much that means to me. And to everyone, I wish you happy writing, find your reading escape, and cheers, dears.